Everybody told me, what are you doing? People, what will people say? I said, I don't care what people say. I'm going to, live my life the way I want to. That it is only one life. And whatever we put out there, whatever we give, whatever efforts we make should be in the positive direction, because that is where the results are going to come out from. I wanted to actually fly freely in the sky, do exactly what I love to do. And to do all of that, I understood that it's important for me to become empowered and independent. It may not end up in money in 2 days, but if you're doing the right thing, if you're following your passion, if you're doing something that your heart really wants to go with it, I think everything else follows.
For the future generation, we are going to do a big deal of favor.
I have traveled to more than 20 countries across 4 continents in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome to SWOW series, the strongest women of the world, a global talk show where we celebrate strength and achievement of women from all over the world. Women are achieving extraordinary feats in everything that they choose to pursue. It is time to bring such inspirational stories out in the world so that many more women and girls will choose to find their strength and achieve whatever they wish. Simply put, this show brings the best women in the world to inspire the rest of the women in the world. Bear in mind, this entire show is absolutely non-scripted. Everything that we spoke here on the show is heart to heart. Today's guest is absolutely stunning and inspiring individual who has received innumerable awards for several years of her work. She received National Award for the Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities from the President of India, the State Award for Exceptional Achievement in Entrepreneurship from the Department of Social Welfare, Delhi. She also won several other prestigious awards like Red and White Bravery Award, Rajiv Gandhi Manna Seva, and Ashoka Fellowship. She is blind since childhood, but she never ever allowed that to stop her from achieving anything that she wants to. She is, in fact, first blind aerobics instructor in India, is a TedX speaker. She also authored 2 books, and one is The Other Senses and the other one is A Fight Without Sight, published by Hay House. I can speak about her entire day, but will not be able to cover her achievements, awards, and the work. Help me to welcome Preeti Monga, founder and CEO of Silver Linings and director of Project Jyoti at Dr. Shaw's Charity Eye Hospital. Hi Preeti, how are you doing?
Hi, good morning. I'm doing absolutely fine. Perfect.
First of all, I want to say a big thanks to you, Preeti, for being part of this Strongest Women of the World show.
Absolutely. I don't think you need to thank me. I think I'm totally humbled and honored to be on this show. I'm absolutely super delighted because you have chosen to get me onto this show. Thank you so very much. And I hope we're going to have lots of fun along the way.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. So, let me ask this one thing to you, right? You have achieved so many things, right from your corporate career, you're having your own business, you're really running through all the life just like anybody else who may have eyes. But can you tell me what kind of thinking process or the mindset helped you to just live your dream?
Well, as I always say that I have never really considered myself different from anybody else. That was probably also attribute this to my parents, to my family, to my friends and people who have walked the journey along with me. So having said that, they planted a seed of being independent, being self-sufficient. That is one of the major reasons why I did what I did and what I do, now as well. As I was growing up, I faced so many challenges, so many horrendous challenges, not only because I was a woman, but a girl child and then a woman, but also on top of that, I have a huge disability, which is total blindness. And being a woman and being blind on top of that, and in a country like India, and coming from the, say about, this happened to me about over 5 decades back. So the challenges were so many that I just couldn't figure out, and I failed so many times But yet that dream inside of me that I wanted to be happy, number one. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to do what I want to do. I wanted to actually fly freely in the sky, do exactly what I love to do. And to do all of that, I understood that it's important for me to become empowered and independent. And that is the thing that goes on and continues to push me. And even today, that I want to continue living life queen size the way I want to live. And that's why I've been probably able to sort of continue to swim against the tide and be where I am today.
Wow.
In fact, let me tell you, I have an organization that's called Silver Linings. We work towards helping, I wouldn't say helping, but yes, would like to say the other way, that empowering people with disabilities, especially girls and women with blindness. And of course, we take the men along as well, because we understand they too have a huge problem in a country like ours. And we work towards education, empowerment, employment, training, basically helping them to help themselves become productive and dignified citizens.
People take small challenges in their life and say that, man, this is so big. I mean, I don't know how to handle this. I mean, you have really, as I understood, and the other day when I was actually kind of reading out, having the eyes have almost 80% judgment. I think as per the study, that a man or a woman generally lives literally 80% of the judgment is done by the eyes. But without that, you are absolutely, a rock star entrepreneur, and also you're helping out people there. But I want to ask one important question here, Preeti.
Right.
Now, I know that you've told me that about when you were in the school, you were not allowed to come back to the school. From there to come here, like you said, you went through a lot of horrible experiences. I want to ask you, what was the internal talk that was going at that time, right? When something like that, taking out of the school is a really big thing, but how did you overcome?
Absolutely. I would like to just touch upon the time when I was in school, and when I was supported in school, in a mainstream normal school, if I would use that term, quote unquote. I'm also normal, but that's how people understand. So I was in a regular normal school, and till class 8, I remained in school because my teachers and the principal was absolutely supportive, and I was doing perfectly fine. I had learned to use a typewriter at that time. We did not have much accessibility equipments then. But suddenly the management changed here in Loreto Convent, Delhi, and the new principal, she just chucked me out, and only on the pretext that I was blind. And they decided that school was not for me. So that was one of the biggest challenges. I was just 13 years old. This is 1972. And I was struggling with coming to terms with my disability, teenage, and everything else that goes with a 13-year-old. And on top of that, I get thrown out of school. It is such a horrible feeling. I have no words really to express it. I was ashamed. I was devastated. I did not know what I did wrong. Just because I was not able to see, I was not allowed to participate in the normal activity of the world. It was really devastating. I just cried and cried, and I used to cry and cry and cry. And it took a long time for me to really get over that, till my parents helped me understand one fact, that this is not the end of the world, and I could, if I tried, work on my strengths, forget about my disability, work on the strengths, which they continue to point out. And they asked me to learn music. So I chose sitar, and then a dream again formed in my heart, saying that, the respect that I had lost, the devastation I had faced, I'm going to show the world that I can also do something, and I wanted to become as famous as Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. And with that dream again in my heart, I started to diligently learn music, sitar. And I used to practice for 8 hours every day. And I learned sitar for 8 years. And do you know, that after those 8 years, my teacher, Guruji, he told me that you can never become a performing artist, Preeti, because you are not able to understand music. You are very good, excellent as a person who is playing the instrument, and you're just superb. It's so much hard work, but you cannot become a performing artist. For that, you need creativity in music. And you don't have that gift, and you don't know how much devastation I faced by the time I had grown up. And I thought my learning years were over, and that's the end of my life. And I went into severe depression. It was horrible. It was really horrible. When I was really at the bottom of my, disastrous life, the story of Helen Keller. And along the line, as I was growing up, that story of Helen Keller continued to come into my world because I was blind. So, my family, my aunts and my parents, they would tell me about Helen Keller. So I thought, that she had 3 disabilities. She couldn't speak, she couldn't hear, and she could not see. And I have only 1 disability. So what am I talking about, And this thought, 1 disability, I can hear, I can speak and everything else. So the only thing I can't do is I can't see. So that is the thought that made me dare to dream again. And then I had to form a dream that I wanted to achieve by the time I was 20. And I thought, okay, so now I am an accomplished homemaker. I have learned everything, and I'm going to get married. And then I suddenly realized, when I got onto that part of my life, I suddenly realized nobody wanted to marry a blind girl. And this time, I had failed so many times till now, till then. That I promised myself that I will do or die. I am not going to fail at this. So ultimately, I did get married. I found a gentleman who looked beyond my disability, I thought. And once again, I got married when I was just about touching 23. And suddenly, 2 hours beyond signing the marriage register, I discovered that this was the biggest and the most horrendous disasters of my life. I realized I had married a man who was really an alcoholic, who turned out to be a completely compulsive liar, an abusive man. And I spent my wedding night actually, being abused, being pushed around, thrashed around, and on top of that, cleaning his vomit in our bedroom. That was how I started my married life, and that completely broke me. And for the next 5 years, I have a recollection of only going lower and lower in my whole life, and completely. I never knew that there was something that was even worse than depression. In this period, I had 2 children. I have a daughter and a son. And I just couldn't handle this whole thing. And I reached a point where I thought that now I have to end my life. I have to commit suicide. That's the only way out of this entire mess, because I just do not seem to succeed at anything I'm touching. Anything I do, it completely falls in my, sort of pushes me even worse. And but then I looked at my children. I would see my children. I said, what would they do? And then I even planned that I would, first kill them and then kill myself. And do you know, Rajesh, I failed at that as well.
That's the best failure, probably.
And from there on, I just thought that, what am I going to do if I have to live, if I failed at committing suicide also? If I'm going to live further, I don't want my children to be ashamed of me, and I can never live a life which is not good for me. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to contribute. I wanted to do so many things. So the first thing I realized at that very point is that I needed to become economically independent. Unless I am economically independent, it's not going to work. So if I cannot earn for myself, I will have to continue to sort of subjugate and do exactly what whoever feeds me or whoever is taking care of me. And it took me about 2 years to understand and realize, because I had still today, I have only a class 10 certificate to call my own as formal education. And that's it. So plus entire sack full of failures. So I just put them behind me, and aerobics had come to India, and I decided that maybe it's better, than working out in front of a television. A human being would be better. So I kind of forced Mrs. Veena Merchant at that time. She had come from the United States to train me, and she also refused. She said, "You cannot become an aerobic instructor because even in the US there is nobody." So I said, "Never mind. We will work together if you please allow me." So ultimately, I sat in her office for 3 hours. And then ultimately she was tired because I was not going home. And she said, "Okay, come tomorrow." And I was trained within 2 months. I was teaching her class within 2 months. And that was a lot of work as well.
This is definitely, I see it, right? Why you are so strong. I can see here one of the main reason is that failures made you really so strong. And as I see it, most of the people out there, the biggest challenge is those failures are taken in a negative manner. And like I see it, every time that you fail, you actually kind of figured out a new challenge, a new passion, a new thing to do. I think that is one of the things I feel, that kept you going. But let me, I really wanted to, I'm so much inspired even reading your books and, the way that you grow your life. But let me ask this question. This is really important. Like you said, one of the things, I am normal. I treated myself to be normal. And that seems to be one of the reason or the foundation which kept you, achieving the awards. But let me ask one question. If, there is a person out there, like I know that 80% is based on eyes, but they're still struggling. What do you think? I know that you are also an inspirational speaker. What is the kind of, thinking process they should carry to really deal with very, very small things compared to what you have done?
That's a wonderful question, and thanks for asking it. Yes, definitely. You see, every human being has challenges, and everybody's challenges are just as strong and as difficult and as horrendous as mine, right? Maybe some people have even worse challenges in their lives. But do you know, have we ever asked ourselves that if there were no challenges in my life or anybody's life, what would we be doing? Where would we be? Because unless we have a challenge is something that comes and is given to us, and it comes into our life to actually propel us forward, to actually allow us to understand the strength that is being given to us, gifted to us by nature, by the universe, by God, whatever you may like to call, that one power which is there that gifts us all these things. Challenges are here to propel us forward, and we need to understand the fact. In fact, I would like to say here also, if you're not facing a challenge in your life, you really must worry, because you're out of the league anyway, because you're just lying in bed and doing nothing. So can you imagine? Challenges are they come in your way to guide you in the direction you need to go. But then what we do, most of us, what we do is the moment we are challenged, we just fall down and cry. I do the same, as I mentioned, each time I was hit by failure, I was completely devastated and broken. But then I kind of realized that how can I spend the rest of my life just sitting and crying and feeling sorry for myself? It doesn't work. I mean, how am I going to live through this life? That's the thought that came to me, and it still comes to me. It still is that one driving factor behind me, that how am I going to live my life? And unless I think beyond that challenge, okay, there is a challenge in one area, let me look on the other side. Let me see what else can I do? How else can I have fun? How else can I enjoy my life? How else can I do a meaningful something today? And then you find your path and you move on, because the strength is in you, the potential is out there. See, 80% of my of my learning that all of the sighted world does by eyesight and lives with that 80% of your world is completely visual. I did not have that. So that taught me, if I wanted to live equally shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the world, so I must be productive just as everybody else is. So I had to practice and do and learn 1,000 times harder than people with sight, because we do not have a world that actually empowers or helps people without eyesight. So can you imagine that you have everything going for you, and even then, if you're going to waste your life just feeling sorry for yourself, feeling unhappy, upset, then we really need to think again. And I'm always here to sort of inspire and encourage and say, hey, come on, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said is very, very true. I mean, if we decide to use our entire resources, all that 100%, and then decide to have fun with the life, I mean, most of the things are very, very small, actually speaking. These awards, when this comes to you, what does it mean to you, Preeti?
Well, I just look around and say, I wonder why. I never do anything to achieve anything, except I want to achieve happiness. I want to achieve the freedom to continue to explore and just keep on going. And it really sometimes troubles my heart a lot that why are people having long faces? Why are people, just saying, I can't, they have these, their whole vibration around them is so dull. Why? What's wrong with you? Okay, we all have challenges, we all have trouble, but fine, you sit down and cry for, 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, you can grieve, you can cry, you can be upset, but then please, we are here for a purpose. Let's move on. Let us not, just give up on ourselves and, just allow life to just push us around and be victims. Because what will the world say? What will people say? How can I do this? How can I smile because I've been through a horrible time? That's one of the reasons we don't move on forward. We want to please the world, and nobody gets pleased, actually. Let me tell you, nobody's interested in the other person. So I think it's a good idea to just move along and go forward and take a lot of other people along with you as well. That's important.
Yeah. True. I can't agree more on that because people are generally lost into somebody else's opinions. And I think that really brings me into the next generation, right? Now, you're a parent. Now, you're a grandparent. Now, generation should, you think, should really focus upon, I mean, how did you enjoy the parenting, right? Parenting and grandparenting must be really a totally different ballgame. But what do you think this generation should focus on?
Well, see, generation, it can be this generation, it can be my generation, or it can be the future generation. I think it's important, first of all, to fill yourself with all the goodies, all the important, positive thoughts, positive messages. Learn to ignore the negative messaging that comes to us from all sides. It could be somebody living with you, it could be the media, it could be, somebody on the street, or something that has happened to your business or to your work or to your health. I think we need to first figure out the positivity. What are the positive points in my life? Fill ourselves with that, and then move further and say that, this is, again, I would like to say that once again, that it is only one life. And whatever we put out there, whatever we give, whatever efforts we make should be in the positive direction, because that is where the results are going to come out from. So the generation that is coming now, they are much, much more aware. They have so much going for them. And they need to really understand that let us not destroy this beautiful world and this beautiful life that we have got. Let us first fill ourselves with the good stuff, and then we exude that and send it out to the world, so that a lot of positivity spreads from you and it'll come back. And the world has got enough. Competition is a good thing. The world has got enough. There's so much to do. And whatever one can do, follow your passion, your heart. Do not do things that are supposed to be good or supposed to be profitable or beneficial. Do that. It may not end up in money in 2 days, but if you're doing the right thing, if you're following your passion, if you're doing something that your heart really wants to go with it, I think everything else follows.
This is the really the $1 million message, I would say, Preeti, for the next generation, because most of the time people are going for what will look good for them, for the friends, okay, my friend has started a startup, let me do it. Or maybe my friend has gone into this company, go into this, right? So yeah, this is really, really true. And I'm sure, audience are going to recognize the importance of following the passion. And
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, right? If at all, if you have to really look back in time and again, that 15-year-old girl, would you do any things different? Means, based on the experiences that you already have?
Well, no. Because if I hadn't traveled, first of all, if I was not hit with a disability and I hadn't traveled that route that I have traveled up till today, up till right now, I wouldn't be me and you would not be having me on your show. So I'd rather be on your show and do, that's fine. Now, going ahead, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to follow my passion, but I would not have done anything different. It was wonderful. I've had a wonderful life, and if I look back, I have really enjoyed living my life, even along with those challenges. Let me also give one very important message out, that even when I was in the worst periods, and I cannot say which one was the worst, but even the worst periods, every worst period of my life, I did fall down, did cry, did sort of completely give up at a point for a little while. But then I looked for one little positive thing, one small positive thing, and I just played on it. And the moment I started going with that one positive thing in that huge dark, moment of my life, that one positive thing kept me busy, and the darkness just passed away. It brought me to the next corner. So let's just focus on one small positive thing that you have. And we all have positive, because positive and negative go together. It is only that we don't do these things because what will people say? For example, I divorced my husband finally, after my ex-husband finally, after 11 years of suffering. And nobody came along with me. No one, even my family did not want me to do it. So I just went on my own and divorced him, chucked him. And I still wanted to get married. I still wanted a life partner, because I wanted a friend. I wanted somebody who would be with me, and I could share my life and not also be a burden to my children. But most of all, I wanted to be a happy person, because only work, no play, that was not my way. So ultimately, I found this gentleman who was working with me at a point, and I just saw that he's just the right guy. And I asked him to marry me. I proposed to him. I'm 10 years older to him. My husband today, we've been married for 25 years now. He is 10 years younger to me. He has no disability. And he was not married. He was just 27. I was 37. And I had two grown-up children. I mean, adolescent daughter and 11-year-old son. So I just asked him to marry me. And it took him 22 days, and I kept on behind him. I said, have you decided? Say yes or no. Then I look forward. And then we're married today.
Wow.
And to the man, I doubt if there's someone like him, I mean, he just fits my dream man, whom I used to dream of maybe when I was a teenager. And everybody told me, what are you doing? People, what will people say? I said, I don't care what people say. I'm going to, live my life the way I want to. And my dad always said, go ahead and do whatever you can justify to yourself. If you can justify it to yourself, go ahead and do it. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I see that, you are following your passion at the same time, you're actually following your heart and then taking the decisions. And if anyone can actually kind of take moments out of your life and really kind of change life in just like that. And let me put this, one very important aspect of it. Now, it's not that, like you are learning all this and then, you're just making sure that your life is really beautiful. But I'm seeing that you're going ahead and helping so many visually impaired people out there. And do you see, Silver Lining is doing such a huge, ambitious, work in making sure that these people are kind of getting back into their real life. But tell me one thing, right? What kind of basic challenges they go through right in the beginning? Because I'm sure some of the audience who will watch will be able to get that.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Silver Linings actually runs a few projects. We work towards inclusion of people with blindness and hopefully people with disabilities into mainstream society. So under that, we have, we have initiatives called Fusion. We have an initiative for women, blind women, where we empower them, help them with whatever they have lost and whatever they have not been able to inculcate through their upbringing, and they are now grown up. So that's called Dignity. And one of our very important projects is Project Shiksha under Silver Linings. And Shiksha is a preparatory school where we work with girls, where we prepare girls, little ones, blind girls, and we send them to mainstream schools. They come from the underprivileged society from all over, India, wherever we have a small little hostel. And it's a home away from home. We teach them everything. And when they come to us, most of them are just left with us. The parents don't know what to do with them. The parents just leave them with us. And then there are responsibility. And we at Silver Linings, our mission is not only to take them through schooling, through mainstream schooling, and then to college, to whatever they must do. We're also in the process of developing vocational programs for these girls, so that tomorrow they are independent human beings. What happens to a blind girl is very, very sad. Neither the parents after a certain age can do much for them, because the parents also become older. The siblings are busy in their own world, and nobody wants to, as I said it earlier, nobody wants to marry a blind girl. What does she do? Where does she go? She's on the street. And I don't want that. It's too painful. So we have to empower them so that they become independent people. And then through this, if I may, I'd like to appeal to everybody that's listening to me that please come together and let's work on this huge issue together, because we need, fund is one thing, but we need a lot of other things and a lot of other support and a lot of other hands to come together to be able to empower this almost a huge chunk of blind population that lives in India. You'll be surprised to know that 1/3 of the world's blind population lives in India. So how can we as a country move forward when we have so much load on our shoulders? When these people, if they are educated, given quality education and empowerment and given the right kind of exposure, they can become dignified and productive citizens. They can help carry this weight. So here is what we are trying to do, and there are huge challenges, yes. And of course, these are challenging times, so it's even got worse. But I have some wonderful people around, their blessings, good wishes, and all kinds of support. We are trying to just pull our weight.
Wow. I mean, this is really inspiring, Preeti. The work that you're doing is literally changing the lives of people whom really many people are not caring. And on behalf of my side as well, I request every audience out there, probably the influencers, everybody is watching, to take the thought and get into the action and get involved in at any capacity that is possible to make sure that at least all this, everybody lives at that kind of a dignified life, and all of us together, we can definitely do that.
Sure.
I strongly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's possibilities are billions, and you don't, for example, you improve your health by eating one less pizza a month. And you can just send that little bit to give a beautiful smile to one little blind girl, and she will grow up tomorrow and look after this world, and your children and our grandchildren will have a happier and a wonderful world without burdens. It is so small and so simple. So every drop counts, I think, and lots of people are doing lots of great work out there. It's not only alone me. The world doesn't. I mean, I am doing a very tiny little bit of work, but at least I'm doing something and not just complaining about it. That's important.
And I mean, it's not about complaining. You are carrying a smile all along. I'm sure you're a lucky guy. So to see your smile all the time. So, I want to say one thing. You're leading the way. Believe me, these are the awards which are clearly evident, which I could not even read. There were so many awards which I could not even read, but you're leading the way, and you're inspiring so many, people out there. So I want to say once again a big thanks to you to be part of this, Strongest WOW series. And audience, if you have not yet, liked or subscribed, make sure to do it right away, and make sure to share this message with every single person out there where, this can make an impact in their life. But otherwise, is there any last advice that you have, Preeti, for the audience before we conclude this very interesting conversation?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and I enjoyed every moment of having this wonderful conversation. I would like to say one thing: there is no lack. We can all learn to give, and if we can give, we can give freely, of starting from a smile to good words to kind to money to anything. Let's share. If we share, there is no lack in this world, and we can, with our own sharing, full heart, please do not hold back. There will never be a lack in your life if you share. But if you don't, there will always be lack, and you'll always be stressed out and feel so disturbed that, oh Lord, what am I going to do? But if you share, so much more will come. And for our children, for the generations to come, if we share today, we would have done our bit, and our grandchildren and beyond that, people will thank us for what we are doing. Just share, and whatever you can, just share. don't keep your hands and fists tight. Just share, allow it to flow, share your love. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Preeti. You've inspired, you've shared, and right from your personal experiences to your journey. And it's not just about inspiring. I'm already having kind of goosebumps. But one important message is share to make the lack disappear from the world.
Yes,
is the message from Preeti. And thank you so much again, Preeti, and all the audience. I'm going to see you in the next episode with another amazing woman. But for today, me and Preeti, we say thank you so much for tuning in. Stay happy, stay inspired, and be absolutely passionate. And we say thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.